Get together and reach group.
Yeah, we can double it here.
You're sitting in there like this, but really, unfortunately.
And the seat here outside. Right. We can probably get 3 seats here.
We're not done half that list. We're not done half that list.
Sorry. I've never pulled into this, so I'm not.
So close to it.
It was so much nicer. Mila came with us.
Yeah, that last, I finished on Monday. That was nice because it's just like,
Yes.
Yeah, most of the rest of my groups are pretty good.
Standing and walking and stuff.
alrighty, I think we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks everybody for being here tonight. Let me pass out this. Why don't we start by just going around the room, introducing ourselves and sharing a highlight from the last week in your life, or the last couple of weeks.
Or a future week.
Yeah, so Rob, why don't we start with you?
Okay, sure. Rob here, hi everybody. Third chair, second VP for the Caucus. And I'm going to share a highlight from tomorrow, which is that our data center meeting in front of the county commissioners is tomorrow. And we are anticipating a win. That rural hole won't be overtaken by a giant 85-foot warehouse in people's backyards. And so I'm looking ahead at future drilling.
Okay.
I'm Adam Crenshaw, also known as Jake Lyle's husband. I'm a full-time student at Michigan State, and today I finished my summer courses, so I get a week and a half off.
Jim Wiles, I'm the third. I'm starting a new job on Monday. I'm going back to clinical practice after being out for a decade. So I'm working in urgent care as a nurse practitioner and
Emergent?
I mean, I did emergency medicine when I did practice,
Nice.
but I'm still a little scared.
What are they gonna do when you leave them to do your new job?
Well, it's shift work, so that's part of making the change. I only work 3 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Cool.
I have to work a full-time job because the legislator job pays $13,000.
Yeah.
And I will pay not all 12 months of my mortgage.
Gotcha.
Oh,
I was a doula to an Eastern Box turtle. I wasn't
A doula.
but I was in the park, as I usually am, and I came upon one digging a little hole, and I just stayed there until she laid her eggs, and I cannot wait until like the 70 days is up, so I can start watching to see them come up. But apparently they overwinter if it's too cold when they reach the end of their like time in the shell. So we'll see. I have videos if anybody wants.
Linda Winnickoff, I'm going to have to do two. One is the Freedom School Summer Programming. It was very successful for 6 weeks. It ended on last Friday. We had an amazing finale. I think all the sites had an amazing finale presentation, but I was at the one over that, and it was truly amazing. And then we had a first Winston-Salem Moral Monday, moral fusion organizing. And we had about 60 people, so it's really organizations coming together.
I'm Debbie Walker. I echo what Linda said because I participated in that same finale. But we've had our grand dog for a week and a half, so that's fine. But he took a bite out of, not a bite, a scratch out of my arm.
Love bite.
Yes, love bite. But other than that, he's a sweetheart. But and I'm in precinct 112 in Walker County.
What kind of dog?
Standard poodle.
Oh. Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah, they are.
My name's Leslie Mullenix, and I am excited about, and I'm looking at you, Linda, because we just finished at my place of work, which is I work with a pre-K priority to help more kids have high quality pre-K before they go to kindergarten. We just finished a series of teacher focus groups to try to have pre-K teachers talk to kindergarten teachers and bridge this gap that our little kids deserve to have a great start. And the teachers were just awesome. Linda helped recruit over at Old Town. And you can just, you know, I think a lot of times teachers, they just feel beat down right now. And I think this was a good opportunity for them to be in a room together with their counterparts and just feel like, and know that their voices matter and that they were heard. And it gave me a good feeling, and I was just helping, you know, facilitate it. But, you know, we need to continue to tell our educators that we appreciate them and they're so important. So, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Great.
My name is Elizabeth Summer, and since you brought up educators, a week or so ago, I guess, and y'all may be aware of this, but I ran into a group at Panera. There was a group of teachers who are part of an organization called Kids Over Corporations.
Yes.
And so I have their flyer with the QR code where you can sign their petition. They were getting ready to door knock, and apparently door knocking ongoing to try and advocate for sort of rethinking the budget priorities of the state legislature and getting more money back into schools. But I was really impressed with that group. So that was one back. I guess my fun thing is that a friend of mine from grad school was able to come and visit, stay with me a couple days. And that was fun. I haven't seen her in a good while, so.
Hey, everybody, I lit up with everybody felt community, and hey, that's very good.
Everybody was here.
You can't read me by myself here.
Sorry, what are you supposed to be doing other than introducing ourselves?
Highlighter for you, have to meet yourself.
Oh, well, I think the highlight is what Linda and we are working on is that tomorrow, Monday, that's about 6 or 7 days tonight. And it was fantastic. That is a regional thing that we're doing it all over. I think Albemarle's next.
Avnex.
Albemarle. It's not a day, you know.
Hey, put out moms. They need it.
Yeah.
We're trying to engage Davidson, I think Davidson.
It's fine.
But that's exciting stuff. Yeah. So that's what I got.
Andy Bowline, and I've just had a crazy afternoon. I'm sorry, my wife got stuck at work. So my exciting thing is I got all the kids where they were supposed to go today. Yeah, she's stuck up there. She does dialysis and RNA break. They've not been able to treat anybody all day, so emergency meetings. But yeah, sounds like the water may be flowing again, and turn the page.
What they say.
Yeah. So that's mine. I'm just trying to catch my breath now.
Very well country.
How many children?
Just two, yeah. And one's about to be driving, but is still not, so I just, yeah. It's a lot of carting them around.
I'm Sarah Gerard, and I think a highlight was the Memorial Monday meetup was really inspiring and felt good. And as of now, my family is fairly well, so
Good.
it's good for now.
Yeah, good.
We'll take it.
Yes.
I'm Shannon Heyman Averett. I've had a stressful week dealing with family stuff, but I've had some fun too. I went swimming with a friend, and we didn't lose power today at our house, water, so I was very thankful for that. And so for me, that's a really great thing for this week.
Adam, president of the Caucus. Mine's simple. I've been getting back into my running routine, and this morning my run felt really good. It wasn't tiring, or I was just kind of flowing, so that's exciting. When I'm running every day, it's good.
But I'm Carrie. Hey, everybody. We've been in and out of different meetings together these last couple of weeks, I guess. Let me see, what am I saying? What was my week?
Yeah.
Let me think. What was the highlight of my week? Okay, I just think the work that we're doing as community, I think it's overwhelming in one regard, but it is what is needed in our community. And just for us all to be able to be in a collective space and centering our efforts around democracy, I think for me, that is like the highlight of my week. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, thanks everybody for sharing. So I passed out the agenda. We're gonna do the regular, is there a motion? Does anybody want to add anything to the agenda? And if not, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So,
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty, we've approved the agenda. So the other thing is, in the last meeting, we talked about a purpose statement and group norms, so I put those on flip chart paper so that we kind of always have them up there as a reminder what we're here for and just the group norms that we as a group agreed to be holding. So I'm not going to read through that, but I think it is good to just take between our time, month to month. I think it's good to just be reminded what are we working towards and working on. So any kind of questions on that? All right, speaking of, I was talking to Rob at the beginning, there is a lot going on. So the officers talked about giving space in every meeting for people to share about things that are happening. People are listening within our signal, but not everybody's in the signal, so just giving some space to this meeting, so, yeah.
I just want to acknowledge, there is a lot of stuff happening in Winston-Salem. And for me personally, it can be a challenge to just keep up with all the things that are going on and find out about them in advance. A lot of things, especially around Mobilize, seems like they get posted just a few days before, and so it's hard to keep up with some of those things. But I just wanted to make sure that we're all, that we know that we have space in the Signal chat and the Facebook group to post those kinds of events so we can all help ourselves to show up. I did show up at the Memorial Monday meeting as well, and that was very meaningful. So there are a lot of good things happening in Winston-Salem. I mentioned earlier, it feels to me, and maybe it's just because I'm new to activism and progressive causes, but it feels to me like Winston-Salem is really punching above its weight in terms of community action, different groups that are doing events and that kind of stuff, and I love to see it. Those of you that have been in activism and community organizing for years, maybe you're like, oh, it's just kind of always been that way. But to me, it feels like there's a lot going on, and I love it. I wish I could be in everything. But we wanted to create space here in this meeting. If anybody knows of events coming up that would be of interest to the group, and then especially that we might want to show up as a group or, for the people of the group to show up as. Let's talk about them, and if you plug your own, if you have campaign events, plug them.
I got one though.
Yeah, okay.
Jen and I have a town hall, August 27th in Kernersville, Kyle's Coffee.
Kyle's Coffee, it's being sponsored by Carolina Ford, which is pretty cool. If you guys follow them on social media, they're a pretty big group in the state, and they wanted to do an event for the two of us. Probably because they think he's really cool. They just let me join. But yeah, we're excited about it.
Where's it standing in Kernersville?
It's like in downtown Kernersville, yeah.
What was that about?
August 27th.
August 27th, yeah.
It's totally free, but we do ask RSVP just so we can give the space and idea of how many people will be there.
Which time?
What is the time? 5:30? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It's your announcement.
Yeah, you just posted it the other day.
I think it's 5:30
I
to
just
7.
made it, I didn't know.
Yeah, let's find out.
I think it's 5:30 to 7.
Is it 5:37?
Where's it again?
What's that?
In Kernersville, we'll play in
Kyle's Coffee.
Kyle's Coffee.
So would that be something cool? I can post it on flyer for the signal.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And Facebook group, yeah. I'm gonna be doing some work this next couple weeks here to get the signal group out to our folks, just so we get more people in there. It's a really effective tool for our libraries.
If we're not already in it, will you?
I'll have instructions on how to join. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anybody else have any events coming up?
Well, because I didn't think about this when we asked everyone to add them to the agenda, I'm gonna say it here because it's technically an announcement. But I think we should have added it to the agenda about location. So I did get feedback. I have a friend who's the director at Reynolds Park Community Center, and he said we could use some space there and he wouldn't make us pay for it as long as on a night that they don't have another group already meeting. So that's an option. We need space for this meeting through the election. We will not have headquarters. Libraries are totally an option, but we have to do the earlier time for the libraries is when they close. The community centers technically charge you, but I have an inside man that said he would maybe not charge us. And so that may be an option. If people have other thoughts, please put them in the signal groups. We need some help with where to have these meetings.
Rudy, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know Memorial Monday is kind of a regular, planning to be a regular event. Do you want to share just a little bit about it?
Well, it's on the 3rd, it's on the 3rd, but it's, we're not the individual doing a lot of it, but we're supporting the poor people. So, tell us about the poor people.
Well, the Poor People's Campaign, which is Bishop Barber, William Barber is the head of that, with Repairs of the Breach. And it's a national campaign, but we also have the North Carolina Poor People's Campaign. And usually Moral Mondays are in Raleigh. That's when they started back in 2014. They've always been in Raleigh, but it's really a slaughter to get there. I've been to some of them. So they're encouraging circles, regionally, we're called circles, to try to start doing Moral Mondays within the circle. So we're the Piedmont Triad Circle. And there's one in the circle in Charlotte and Sand Hills and Asheboro and Bungo. And so what we decided, and it was really at that Campbell City meeting we had where I talked to you about it, is what Bishop Barber, part of it is what he calls moral fusion organizing, and it's getting groups that are like-minded together rather than everybody having their own turf and doing their own. So we just got together and said, well, why don't we do like a group do it, or a town do it like each Monday of the month. So the first one was Guilford County, and then we had Winston, and now we're doing Alamance, Elon, and I have the address here. And then we're trying to get, or you're trying to help us get dates. Because they're more indivisible groups. It's Alamance County, August 3rd, 6:30 at Elon Town Hall, 104 South Williamson Avenue. And actually, we have a signal chat, and it was like getting space in like Burlington and getting in that county is tough there. their town hall, so that's why we're doing that part instead of going into, because that's a pretty red county. So anyway, the plan is then to rotate every month, Guilford, Winston, and maybe Elon, and then Davidson, and just every Monday happens either 5:30 or 6:30. And the rest about 45 minutes, have speakers, music,
That's what I was.
and then a call to action. We have a flyer. In Guilford, it was very specific to their early voting sites, because their board of elections we're going to be deciding on their early voting sites the next day after the normal Monday. And then we just talked about voting and Common Cause. Carrie couldn't make it, she wasn't feeling well, so Tyler Day from Common Cause stuff, and he doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't eat all day, didn't hardly eat anything, I was exhausted.
I guess, but we try to also have people who are impacted speak, and so we had 2 speakers that spoke to that. So you're welcome, just look for them, look for the post, look for the, and it's just great having people from different organizations.
Yeah, what Linda then created a little yellow flower that we're maintaining, but if you go into that flower, we're trying to get data, because we're trying to determine who it is that might need certain, because our John Lewis program we had was identifying barriers to voting, and why some of these things are not coming out, or didn't come out. We think that's going to change in 2026, so we hope so, but what we're doing with that flyer that they created is gathering that data so that we can figure out what residents or neighbors need, if they need rides, or if they need childcare, or if they have some issue with work, whatever they might need, they put it in that flyer. And so it's going to be, I assume it's going to be a lot of data. We're probably going to use many of our organizations to sit through that. So I'll share that out. Another thing we're working on, this is not us, but it's, how many of you know Maryland?
Where is it?
Yeah. She, I don't know how she does it, but she, on her signal channel, every single thing that's going on in the world is on this signal channel. So I'm going to partner with her and see if we can create something, maybe with Norris, another name. She had a thing from the party, from us. Some kind of 8.5 by sheet paper calendar. But we can get Maryland and Manny and Norris together. Maybe we can push that out. Maybe even through the resident provider. I'm going to talk to you about it. That way, our groups can understand what's going on everywhere, or at least most of what's going on. And those are just 2 initiatives we're working on. It's come through collaborating.
Yeah, it is, because it's all individual.
What is the housing justice now meeting? I have no calendar, I'm not sure what it is.
I'm sorry.
Housing justice now meeting?
I don't know what it means, but they have an action going on over at Crystal Towers. They usually do. There's always
It's
something
on
over at Crystal
It's on
Towers.
Irving Street, it's just in there, but I don't have information, so I don't even know what it is.
Well, stuff like that is what we hope Maryland and some of us can do. Find out who's the meeting, when they're meeting.
It's 2:30 to 4:30 on the 2nd of August, I'm not sure what it is.
Good. A lot of, and since we make an announcement now, we're not, Council City, we're not doing a back to school thing because there's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people doing it. We have one of our neighborhoods, Castle Heights, doing back to school. Carmel School has back to school. So if you don't get back to school stuff, it's your own fault.
And churches, our church is doing one thing.
Yeah, a lot of people are doing it, so we just said we're big off on that. But it's hard to keep up with them because they're so big. Yeah.
Speaking of back to Christ Beloved Church is doing one for the Hispanic community, specifically in Southside. They have 120 book bags and they're trying to fill them, and they have 120 kids coming. So I'm doing a campaign fundraiser, all funds are going to that, so none of it's going to the campaign. If you don't have time to go shop, I will shop for you. So if you want to donate to kids going back to school, I have to have the money before Saturday, so I can go shop with it on Saturday and get it to them in time. but, because that event's on Sunday.
I think you posted about that.
I'll put it in this, I can put it in the big list.
If I could just say one more thing about the Poor People's Campaign, is that as the head of the one in North Carolina, says we are fiercely and aggressively political, but also fiercely nonpartisan. So, that's important, that, you know, it's about policy and budgets or moral documents, and so it's,
Can I ask y'all one more question about, where you mentioned the cards that y'all created?
the handouts,
Yeah, and that was, describe that again, was that?
Yeah, there are handouts at the end of each Moral Monday, there's a call to action. And so like in Guilford County, it was about going to the Board of Election meeting, but for what we did before, it has, we had websites about voting, so check your voter registration, check the address, and make sure you know what are valid types of voter ID. Doesn't have to be just a license. So there are websites, and then there's a QR code that has a questionnaire, a Google form.
Okay.
And that's where you're getting information, or what are your barriers,
That's
what do you
That's
need?
where Devon's coming from.
Yeah, what do you need to be an active
Yeah.
participating voter?
And I think, Al Porter, I forgot which precinct. Al Porter and, Philip Carter. I think they're 402 precinct. Anyway, they're over the east side. But the Democratic Party for years, and I think they're gearing up now, and this is what Linda's talking about. We are 501c3 too, but we're pretty for me, it's my personality. You tell me where the line is, that's where I'm gonna go. You know, right there next to it. But the party is setting up a rides, not just rides on Sunday to the polls, they're setting up rides all the time. Bill Carter running these things. But a lot of 501c3s are hesitant to work with the party. I think that's foolish, because I'll tell you what, and I know this is my soapbox. If you think that our Justice Department is already out there doing what they can about political enemies, so they're not nonpartisan. And if you think Treasury is going to back off you because you're a 501c3 and not a 501c3, you're crazy. They will attack you just like they attack you. Right? That's not going to stop. I understand. Churches and some other groups are concerned about that. Really Click is not. Lock me up. Yeah. Exactly. But the point I mean is, the party is getting this data and have these rights. And so we as a progressive group can push that out to the nation and say, you know, we're not coordinating with you, but there's a possibility we can get you a ride. That's what we're going to get in.
And I think we're also just working on getting people to vote.
Yeah.
Even register, midterms, people don't vote as much in midterms as they do in presidential years.
Which in itself is a threat to.
What's that?
Which in itself is a threat to the administration. They don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They don't.
I do.
Yes, I
How you doing? One thing I've learned, and I don't know if anybody can speak to this, if anybody knows about this, but I've been told by Maryland and some of the folks about voting. One of the things about the Southside people voting is that there's a concern for them to go by themselves and vote. They are organizing, I think they are. I don't know the details, but I think they're organized to grow voting as a group because it feels safe.
Right.
If they have 20 people going to the polls at once, ICE won't pick them up or something like that. So I think we need to be aware of that, is that this group will vote if we can organize groups that they can vote with. And for some of you, Ken, and for some of you that's in the South Side, that in those different races, we need that group to turn out.
Well, that's why, that is why I'm partnering with the church for this back to school event instead of throwing my own, is because I wanted it to be somewhere where they feel safe, instead of inviting them into my space where they're not in me, And so I think that what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and that's where we should lean on like the Hispanic Caucus, where's the Triad, Maryland, folks like that who've been doing great work in the community, to lead us, because listen to what's needed.
Yeah, we need to be conscious of that coming. That's all I have to say. I know it's a lot, Jack, I'm sorry.
Rudy, it's sparked an idea. Do we know if there's anybody, any group in town or anybody else that is doing organized rides for early voting? Like meet in this parking lot and we'll all over an early.
I'm actually planning to use any leftover funds I have for this very thing. And it doesn't have to be like associated with my campaign, because obviously I can't get people rides to go to the
Right.
thing, you know, like, but just, that is a big part of something I wanna do. I would rather spend money on getting people to the polls than I would on having someone out there handing out my lit to people that have already decided who they're voting for, you know, like, and so that is a big goal of mine, is to actually help with getting people to the polls in some capacity. I would love helping how to do that. Like, I'm trying to raise the money, but.
Well, the party used to have a list of people who would want to drive people to the polls.
Yeah.
I've done it before, and that's my strength. I like to do that kind of
I'd be
stuff.
happy to do it too.
Yeah, and so I don't know,
Did you drive a lot of people?
a good number. I actually was able to go in and help one guy who's blind vote, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to drive through more. But there were some that needed rides, and that, if somebody's coordinating that, I would like to be included.
I think Bill Carey is at precinct 404. Check with Jenny, because she's organizing that this year.
Okay.
But one thing we can consider, and it goes back to what Jen was talking about, trusted groups. These neighborhood associations, if we can get them organized, Reynoldstown, Castle Heights, Washington Park, if those folks get organized, they have a legitimate trust. And they can, if they need support to get people to, like if somebody in Washington Park needs to get a ride, Cornelius. Cornelius can do that, you know, because she runs that neighborhood association. I think that neighborhood association would be gold mine to getting people to the ride, because they know their neighborhood, and they definitely know how to get people to those.
And I like that too, because you don't know how to get vote, and so there's not, you know, any pressure necessarily politically.
Exactly.
If you do it more as a neighborhood association.
It's true. Again, we're not doing it as partisan things.
Right. I think they might feel more comfortable. I'm not gonna be pressured into voting.
Right,
in such
right.
ways.
They would be more, to your point, they would be nonpartisan.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I like the idea of trying to figure out a way of, you know, at a parking lot, or if voters would be responsive to that.
To meet somewhere and then go to.
You know, we're gonna have a band here to take people
Right.
to the polls, to see if there would be response to that.
So I think we can definitely push all that to the voter engagement and try to work on strategies related to that, so. All right, so,
Can I throw one more?
yeah,
sure. Candidate specific, Ashley Bell, we have a headquarters.
Good.
Yeah, I'm trying to go buy scrubs from there, and all the scrub stores closed, so
Scrubs?
that's actually Bell's headquarters.
It's just
now.
full of scrubs. They used to sell scrubs, and now it's full of scrubs, so.
I was like, damn, Ashley Bell.
You're in healthcare.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's North Main.
Where the scrub store used to be.
Well, I don't know where that
So it's 705 North Main, and on August 7th, we are having an open house to celebrate opening the campaign headquarters.
What's it near?
You know, Camel City Barbecue, it's on the
Yeah.
backside of that.
It's on the backside of it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's about a block and a half from, I don't remember if it's Martin Luther at that point yet, or,
Not yet, but.
Not
yeah,
yet.
wherever that road is.
7th,
7th Street, 8th Street, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
So can we talk about campaign a little bit, just a second? Just one second.
it's all good.
this is partisan in here.
Jen, I want to know, I saw your post on, fellowships.
Oh, yeah, I have them hired, so I don't have any openings, but I did have, the Progressive Turnout Project gave me 30 hours of fellow time, like in kind of to the campaign. So I could have 2 at 15 apiece or 1 at 30, and I have 1 at 30 hours. You
Yeah,
might
that's
know
okay.
them. Is he Menorah? Do you know him? I feel like you know everybody. So but anyway,
His last name is what?
I have a nice young man who is helping with Izzy Menorah. Izzy's a nickname. I think it might be Isaiah, but I'm not positive about that.
Okay.
That's not Eric, is it?
No, I don't know it.
Okay.
I do know a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, the reason I asked is because, someone asked me, how do they, get involved in this, and I have no idea. So I think I'm gonna ask, yeah. But that's a good thing. Project, what are we doing?
Progressive Turnout Project. I didn't technically qualify for a fellow, but I've out-canvassed everybody running for NC House, so they gave me one. So hard work paid off.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah,
What was the name?
Progressive Turnout Project.
All right, excellent. So we'll have this as a standing agenda item so people can share, upcoming stuff going on. Another thing the officers talked about, wanted to think about this as a group, is how do we, as a caucus, stay aware of what's happening in our elected bodies, and just get better educated about things like the budget processes, like the county budget, county, city, school district, general assembly budget processes. So Sarah threw out the idea of people, if they're interested in attending, school board meetings, county commissioner meetings, city council meetings, and kind of bringing updates back to the group.
Being ambassadors.
Yeah, ambassadors to what's happening in these elected bodies.
Can I add just like a tiny bit of commentary? So one of the things, we want to be cognizant of short, mid, and long-term action. So we want to be very action-oriented, and so that's things like getting people out to vote for this election that's currently happening, things like that. Anything that's stop the bleed type of stuff, living in group that we need to do. But then we also want to think about what do we want our long-term structure to be. And so this is something that's more in that long-term bucket. And so now is a good planning time. We're about to go into January when a lot of new offices start. To be if you have a huge interest in school board, county commissioner, state legislature, city council, whatever, we can have these little, that makes it sound like I'm being derogatory. We can have these really grand ambassadors that go to represent our meetings. And so that's really, you don't have to go tomorrow, but we can start planning for how to be more engaged in the communities and report back and how we're going to know what's going on.
And all the local ones are recorded, and so you don't necessarily have to be there. You could watch it.
And their agendas are all posted, so you
Yeah.
can look at the documents.
Yeah. And I actually have a site, and I'm happy to share it with anybody if they are interested in this. It's called CGov, and you can select what governments you want to be paying attention to, and they link to all the meeting videos, and it generates transcripts so that you can throw it into something to generate a summary, which makes it easier, so you don't maybe have to watch the whole 2-hour meeting to know what happened. So what are people's thoughts or reactions to that? Jen also said Andy may be up for
Doing all of them, just going to all of them.
No, she said you were really familiar with the state budget, and that
Yes,
you may be
I
up
know.
for doing a workshop around that, the state budget. And I offered to potentially do that for the county budget, because I learned all about that and paid attention to this past budget cycle. So I'd be up for talking through the county budget and the process, etc. But what are people's reactions to this idea?
I think it's a good idea.
And for the state legislature, we probably need multiple people to really learn the most in committee meetings, and there's 100 of them.
Yeah.
So, if you pick out the topics we really want to have the most knowledge about, financials, a good one, healthcare, different things, and people could go to, represent different committees in the state legislature and report back.
That's CGov, is that SEEGOV?
SEEGOV, yeah. And, yeah.
Is it .org or .com?
Let me see if I can pull it up. While groups.
Well, I would say the policy group, that we can take this on as an action item for sure.
Yeah, maybe like build a way for people to sign up.
Yeah, or like a
yeah.
high priority list of the
Yeah.
ones that we would want to start or something, you know, something like that. Like, you think that's reasonable?
I think so, and I think multiple people, because, you know,
Yeah,
and I think in the
Oh,
school board, you've got budget, then you've got policy.
Yeah.
Right.
And they, and the,
it's seekgov.org.
Yeah.
Or.
Yeah, and I had thought, you know, it would, I thought, you know, doing it with the Progressive Caucus would be good, but even there's lots of community members who do go to meetings regularly, and we may be able to recruit people in, too, that would be interested in coordinating with us, to be able to track all of these meetings and track the important things that are happening at them. And, you know, in some cases, we may have something really important that we want, you know, say like it's the data center, and that might be a particular thing we're following, and, you know, certain meetings that we really want to make sure that someone representing us is there at. And over the long term, you know, it could be, we would just be already well informed about the things going on and who is there, who are the power players, and what exactly is happening, so we could be a little more strategic with our time.
and also people wanting to then speak at the meetings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'd be participating as well as following what's happening.
Encouraging people to write to the
It
board.
will really help us be more proactive instead of reactionary.
Because what you said, there is so much going on, but then, you know, what's being done? You know, what's the actions that are changing? And I think that's where, as a community, we sometimes stop.
I think, excuse me, I'm sorry, I think, some of us, and I would agree with this, you know, I don't really care too much what's going on this side, but I go to a kind of go meeting, you know, maybe go to Walkertown, you know.
Yeah, we have people that do.
Yeah, somebody can go to Louisville, Clemens, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Tobaccoville, do they have a county in Tobaccoville? Anything in
Oh,
Tobaccoville?
Town, there is, I think, town.
Yeah, Rural Hall, somebody definitely is gonna Rural Hall.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're getting our girl elected.
Yeah, hopefully so, yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to say that those outlying communities probably need some coverage too, and I don't mind going to a Scarsville meeting as boring as it is, you know.
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, I would be interested, if you're talking about long term, I would be interested in assisting with keeping up with immigration, because that's really where a lot of my passion is headed. And I know right now, Forsyth County hasn't really had to deal with it, but it might become, I mean, as the push continues and as it gets ever more necessary.
Yeah.
The highway patrol getting trained to be ice agents,
Yeah.
so they can change things,
Yeah, I didn't realize that was happening, but
unfortunately.
and, yeah, they're just, yeah. So I wouldn't mind following that particular.
Yeah. They're retiring from the Watkins detention facility right outside.
Yeah, so we can be thinking that's helpful in terms of like thinking about tracking different bodies versus issues, and like building a system so we can have people sign up for what they're most interested in. Okay, so people like the idea. I think, like Jen said, I think the policy advocacy work group can work on creating a system so that we can get organized around that. Other kind of comments on this topic?
Well, I'd like to go back to what he's talking about issues. You know, I think it's imperative that the Progressive Caucus press hard and amplify what the Democratic Party has already agreed. The Democratic Party has already said that they found they passed a resolution that we want to abolish ICE. So I think this Progressive Caucus will make sure that that is front and center, that we agree with the Democratic Party that ICE needs to ago, and this conversation we had in those meetings about, well, they lose their job. I would say this, I know it's gonna sound controversial. Any agency in the United States that has people hired and they shoot citizens in the head, I don't care. If they do
Right.
right, they should lose their job.
It is
Right,
lynching.
you know? So I think we should make sure that we state that we as a caucus agree with the party that ICE should be abolished.
I agree, and I'm gonna use an improv strategy. Yes, and I do think that, because I am 100% abolish ICE, no ifs, ands, like 100%. But I do think that, like, locally, the conversation looks very different than nationally. Like, on a national level, that's where, like, you actually abolish ICE, but locally, there's still a lot that you can do that has nothing to do with abolishing ICE, and it can be, city level ordinances about police not cooperating and different things like
Yeah, but
that.
then the General Assembly said you can't.
Well, I know that, but we're gonna
But
change
there's-
that. I'm just, but, this is the part I was getting to, is North Carolina loves to say that they're first in business, and this is bad for business.
Yeah, it is.
It is. And so one of the best ways to like strategically go after this issue locally is to get businesses on your side, that they're losing revenue,
Right.
because people are scared to go shop or whatever. And so there are like things you can do on the local level to help people feel a little bit better about the conversation that are on the other side that do see ICE as a positive. And I'm not saying we should placate that, I get that it's wrong, but like also you do need numbers to make change. And so like there's sometimes you need to like find what the motivation and what the levers are that you can pull to get more people to
Right
hear
here,
about
and
the
then
issue.
I also read, and it's been a while now, but I read an article when ICE was in Charlotte and then they went to Western North Carolina, supposedly because Gino wanted to visit his family and go and rock. But anyway, they did. They swept into Western North Carolina, which is red, and they really upset people because they were taking their friends and their neighbors. So it's not just about what they have done so far is to dehumanize immigrants that they want to get rid of. But when they actually do that is when people finally say, well, wait a minute, I like this woman, she's my neighbor, she makes great pies or whatever. And so I think that's the other, it's business, yes, but it's also people you know.
Oh yeah, it's people at your school, your church.
Sure, it's people you know, and do you really want these armed people coming into your school?
Remember, Forsyth County Indivisible today said that her daughter's boyfriend was detained in Charlotte by ICE. So she was looking for advice for that. I don't know the details. I don't know if he's a citizen. I don't know if he's just, an immigrant here legally. I don't know the situation, but he's detained by ICE in Charlotte. She's doesn't know what to do.
Well, it's a problem. We have a Democratic sheriff, which he let out for. He said, he did not come out forcefully against that. He said,
National party.
yeah, he said,
You're not on the national.
Bobby Kimber.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't miss what you said. I was
our local
Yes,
sheriff.
And so
Democratic sheriff.
He will not stand
He
up.
was not, he said, I'll follow the law.
he did, and then we asked him several ways, and in the end I said,
Yeah.
ICE is doing illegal things across the country, and so if they are doing something illegal and detaining people without due process and this kind of thing, which is illegal, will you protect the citizens? And he said, I wrote it down, but basically he said, he can't go against federal.
Right, he kept going back to that.
It's
Federal, my hands are tied. It's federal, my hands are tied.
He kept saying, we do not handle ICE, we do not handle federal law, that's federal law. We cannot do anything to that, to those laws.
What does Leva say?
That's what I was wondering, he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Who did you say?
Like, this is a home
ICE agents, he's sitting in the department. And you'll see that when they post the mugshots here in Winston-Salem, they'll post it with the charge, driving without a license or whatever. And if they're Hispanic or, international, people, then, in about an hour, they'll update it with ICE detainer hold.
Oh, man.
And so they are working hand in hand, they're not knocking down doors, they're not breaking windows.
Yeah, but
They're
they're,
embedded in the police departments, and if we, that
But
is
in a
something
lot
for us
of
to
big
do.
cities, they won't, because they recognize it's worse for crime reporting. Because if you take out a whole subset of your population and they won't go to the police if something's wrong, you're actually making crime worse in your area, because they're scared to call you or something like that. So a lot of big cities won't work with them, because they found it to be worse for their crime in the city.
That's not Forsyth County.
I know, I'm very aware. I said big cities.
And there's following the law that the legislature passes, and then there's going above and beyond.
Yeah.
And making it easy for them, and we should not be doing
Yeah.
that.
Correct.
And you don't have to.
Because all of us know that a sheriff, you could follow the law and still do an obstacle.
Yes.
Yes.
You just,
Yeah.
oh, I lost my key.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Well, where did that paperwork go? You can do stuff like that and just be right. But he's cooperating.
But it's also a civil offense, and they don't even have to do anything about that at all. They could just use that. Well, civil, we're not involved in that, we do criminal, moving along, they don't have to cooperate.
Well,
Or give it
also,
to-
ICE is not allowed to break the law, and they are,
Yeah.
and that is something a law enforcement officer could stand up
Or
against.
pivot to, we're protecting our citizens.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm wondering how we maybe lift up opportunities to take action on different issues we're interested in, so.
Sounds like we need to be involved in a parking lot.
I don't think we're done with the conversation yet.
No.
What is the goal of doing all of this data collection and reporting back? What are we gonna do with it? What is the, what is the goal?
Good question.
Action item.
Yeah, we take action, yeah.
The goal is, for me, the goal is to make ourselves aware, because when we are involved in these, if you're talking about the monitoring committees and that kind of stuff, we hear about it and can learn about it before it reaches the general public, and we can be out in front of issues. A stupid little thing, I was at the planning board staff meeting in preparation for the data center thing that never gets publicized, never gets whatever. I was there for their staff report to the planning board, interim, and discovered about the new artists, the expansion of the amphitheater downtown, where they were gonna take over that park, and it was a zoning issue first, and I, posted about it. And then sure enough, like a month or two later, it comes up at, city council that they want to annex this park. So those kinds of things lets you get out ahead of topics rather than, when it shows up at the committees when they're voting on it,
Which is too late.
yeah.
So are we getting data to y'all to make videos about?
Well, I think that's something we have to figure out.
Cause I'm an introvert, I'm not gonna make a video probably. You make a video.
Well, I think the idea would be to have a committee of people, and then
We have people building their roles.
Yeah, like helping gather content, curating the content, and then figuring out what can we take action on, or what do we want to take action on.
And what kind of action?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might be going to the meetings.
What existing groups out there will help us, who do we need to alert?
One thing I will say is that Durham is usually the most ahead of every. I mean, Charlotte too, Mecklenburg, but Durham County are probably the two that are pretty usually far ahead on issues, and so we could just ask them what they're doing. What are y'all doing in your county that is within the new law to provide safety to the immigrant community? And my guess is they're doing something,
I'll bet
It's a
that
good
they
idea.
have really, connected candidates that just come back and work with the caucuses, and ours are a little quieter.
Yeah, I've heard that their city council is mostly have community organizing background.
Oh, yeah,
Their mayor is-
100%,
their
especially if
mayor
they're,
is a
yeah.
former community organizer, so that makes a difference.
I mean, yeah, but they still will know if there's like, okay, is there a city ordinance and like, is that possible to pass in the Dillon's laws? Like, they're gonna know some of the technicalities,
Right, oh,
and logistics of what's even
absolutely.
possible. you know?
Yeah, no, they are, they're,
I would
makes a lot of progress.
has a community organizing background, curious.
She would, yeah.
Yes, she does.
I think we also want to work with policy on the opposite end, and we talked about going down to the city council, getting information, and doing some intelligent work, and that's possibly, I think that's a great idea. But on the back end, we also want to work with grassroots. You know, grassroots people doing some work, that that we need to know what they develop.
Yeah.
So that we can help them elevate. You have, what is it, Carolina Forward working on that budget thing that they've been working on for months. You know, bringing it back and maybe doing some opt-out things, something like that, they do a pilot program. You know, that's unfair. I know there are groups out there that's working on that little donut thing we got in one over Southside County, that gerrymandering thing. I know there are groups out there that's been working on that for years, trying to correct that. I don't know what they are, but that's the opposite, that you find these grassroots people are working on things that need to come to us. Because I know that churches and 501c3s have a problem, but by God, guys, the Democratic Party has resources.
Yep.
They have power,
They have a lot of money right now.
money, so they can do things that grassroots great
Don't say they don't.
just not funded. So, you know, I know there's issues with coordination and stuff like that for all of our groups, but I like the Democratic Party, but they got cash.
Well, the other thing, you bring up a good point, because my guess is the newly formed Hispanic Caucus, this is high up on their list of things they're wanting to take action on. So do we need to take action on every single thing, or do we need to see if other people are and support their efforts? Like, if it's an LGBTQ issue, a trans issue, we probably need to go to the LGBTQ caucus first and say, what are you guys doing? How can we amplify that versus creating something new?
Yeah.
And Jenny said that if there's an issue that's in the lane, like Medicare might be in the senior deal lane, that's their lane.
Yeah.
You know, African American couples might want to work in Juneteenth stuff, maybe even voter rights, that's their lane.
Yeah.
So what is,
I think a lot of economic stuff is left. Like, I think a lot of economics, like pay, wages, economic mobility, housing, it doesn't fall nicely anywhere else. I mean, really, education doesn't. We should partner with FCAD and groups like that, but it doesn't fall in one of those other caucuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm hearing a couple like action items. I like your idea about reaching out to other groups to see what they're doing related to ICE, so we can maybe replicate or just sign on.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hispanic Caucus, and then
Where's the triad?
Durham, and where's the Triad, and then Durham and Charlotte. So does that sound good related to that front? And then, I mean, I think you're right, when we're thinking about gathering content and, you know, presumably taking action on issues, how do we coordinate and partner with other groups that are doing like housing justice now, et cetera?
Yeah, that's working on it.
So I think the policy advocacy work group can kind of process all this. I think this is great ideas and thoughts, and bring back maybe a proposal on how we kind of approach this. Okay, we probably only have 10 more minutes. So is everybody okay to jump to work group updates?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Who wants to go first?
Well, we covered a lot of the community events and that kind of stuff, so that one's kind of an easy one, but.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I will do a much better job. So last month, we actually did have a Google Meet set up.
I didn't see it in time.
So I will do a much better job of getting that posted early. In fact, that is my job when I get home tonight, to get that set up and scheduled. Then we actually talked about, you know, upcoming events and stuff tonight as well, so.
So the advocacy policy did not meet, we did ask you some questions, and I wanted to share back what were the themes from what you answered to the questions, and so we can use that to guide our work as well, plus the conversation today, so that was great. Let me pull up. We asked what are the top what are the 2 to 3 top issues we should prioritize first. Voter rights was the most common response from the group that was here last month. Education was number 2, and affordable housing was number 3. So those are the top 3 things people named as issues we should be prioritizing.
What was the third thing?
Affordable housing.
Oh.
The next question we asked was what should the work group produce, like which tactics should we use? The most common thing people said was advocacy with elected officials. The next most was generating research briefs, and the third was public education events and forums. And then the last thing was we asked the group was, should we balance short versus long-term work? There was a smattering of all of the above, but there was more emphasis on let's focus on short-term until the election, and then work towards long-term things after that.
So sorry.
Giving us a warning?
Well, you can only have the room until 7:30.
Yeah,
That's how reservations work. It has to be figured
Okay.
out 30 minutes before we close.
Okay.
We can stand in a parking lot and
You can also talk over.
Yeah. So I think that's the update from the policy advocacy. We're working to get a meeting.
Was that last question specific to policy and advocacy?
Yeah, focusing on short term.
If there was like the short term, like what short term actions for policy and advocacy would be that have to do with the election?
Some people named some stuff,
Yeah,
like the amendments, like the amendments. And so there were some comments.
I would like to ask for that comment,
Yeah.
because I would like to know that as someone running for office, like what people are saying.
Alright, sorry about that, everybody. That's a little different than the central branch. Maybe 80 decibel